Hello, folks. How are y'all doing today?
Presser is starting now. Presser starting now. 5.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Sheriff. How are you doing?
Good. Are y'all ready for today? It is a wonderful day.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
Aaron Wilborn worked for Merlin Entertainment, lived in Plant City, worked in Orlando, but he was very proud of the fact that he was the president of the Athletic Booster Club for Kathleen High School. In fact, he was so enamored with his position that he decided to steal their funds. Now, normally the treasurer of the Athletic Boosters Club controls the money. But in this particular case, in this particular booster club, the president of the club, which was Aaron, maintained the debit card and was the sole person in charge of transitions, cash transactions, or cash that moved in and out of the club. Well, guess what? I know it comes as a shock, like we've never seen this before, but he stole from the kids. Now think about it. It's summertime. It's hot. The children are out doing car washes. They're out selling candy. They're out doing everything they can in order to raise funds for the Athletic Booster Club or whatever booster club. And they work very, very hard so that they'll have the funds to do the things that they can do with their school activities. And along comes the president of the club, Aaron, who, by the way, never attended Kathleen High School, doesn't have a child in Kathleen High School. And Aaron decides that he'll spend their money. So how does he spend their money? Well, he makes 334 personal transactions between July of 14 and June of 15. The principal of the school discovers this, and it is a separate charity, not part of the school board, but we work hand in glove with the school system, and they call us and say, oh, I'm afraid that Aaron, the president of the Athletic Booster Club, is ripping us off. And in fact, he was. He paid 12 cell phone bills. He put fuel in his vehicle on 149 different occasions. He purchased food, small amounts of food, personal amounts of food, on 85 different occasions. And then, of course, being president of the Boosters Club is stressful. So you need DVDs and movies to de-stress. And he did that on 20 separate occasions. Well, as a result of his efforts, the Booster Club is now defunct. And it's pretty much broken. What we determined during the investigation was something that we see often with these volunteer booster clubs. It was very well unorganized, like most of them are very well unorganized, and it's easy for people to lose their money. But at the end of the day, he stole from the children. He stole from the children despite the fact when we went to his house, he had the 10 Commandments up in his front yard. Well, I wonder if he forgot about Exodus 20:15, you know, thou shalt not steal. Well, I don't want to add anything to the Bible, but I've got a rule here at the sheriff's office that if thou steals, thou goes to jail. And that's where he is. He went to jail for his efforts. He should pay attention to the 10 Commandments that he has posted in his front yard. So at the end of the day, the kids are the victims. The kids who worked hard to ensure that they had money to do the things that they should have been able to do, and they're the ones ripped off. It's not the school board, it's the children. It's not the big business, it's the children. When it should be all about the children, Aaron made sure it was all about him. So he's in jail where he needs to be. And if he's not embarrassed, he should be. And if he's not contrite, he should be, because he stole from the kids who worked hard to earn the money so that they could enjoy their high school years and their social activities assigned with their high school years. Any questions?
This is the second arrest involving a booster club in the last month. Is there enough oversight here? I mean, could this be happening everywhere?
This is happening everywhere. This is not unusual. We make charges and cases over and over and over, and you extrapolate that across the Bay Area and across the state and across the nation. There never is the appropriate oversight on many booster clubs or many social groups that have access to money. Some people can't handle money, but those that can't handle money seem to like it best. And they handle other people's money as bad as they handle their own money. You would probably find that his personal economic situation is a train wreck as well. But, and on balance, we never hear about the good booster clubs and the good systems that maintain checks and balances. But overall, we find that they're not well managed.
Is the system broken? Can something be done?
The system is up to each different booster club to put their checks and balances in place. And every booster club needs checks and balances. In fact, we saw one, the last one we worked, that had the infrastructure in place that you had to have two people's signature. Well, in that particular case, they were just falsifying the other signature. But the booster club wasn't looking at a monthly accounting. They were doing what we all do. They trust people to do what's right.
But if they're stealing from kids, and I mean, you say it's up to each booster club, should the school step in? And we're talking about stealing from kids who are working hard
Right.
for this money.
I think I don't think the school should step in, because there's not only booster clubs at school, there's also children's social events that have 501c3s all over the state. They're not only associated with the schools. But here's the clear message. It's up to those that are members of the booster club and those that are on the executive board to demand to see the accounting monthly. When you go for your monthly board meeting where you deal with booster club business, tell them, we want to see the credit card bill or the checkbook registry every month. And it should be audited on a normal basis. But you know what? If you've got sticky fingers, you're going to steal. If you've got poor accounting and you mix your money and the booster club money, when it all gets together, it's all green. Without the appropriate oversight, you're going to have losses. Every one of these we see, sloppy bookkeeping, lack of oversight.
What are your thoughts about his defense that he used the cell phone for booster club business so he thought it was justified to use their money to pay his cell phone bill?
Yeah, that's a pretty sorry excuse. But if you're going to steal from the kids, you got to come up with some kind of excuse, right? Well, you know, I put gas in my car because I was doing volunteer business. Well, you live in Plant City, you work in Orlando, you fuel your car 149 different times. Okay, we'll buy that. Show us exactly what you were doing in furtherance of that business, in furtherance of your volunteer business. He couldn't show us. He didn't have any documents. Do you know why? Because it wasn't true. Oh, I bought food for the kids. Let me see, how many times did you buy food for the kids? 85 times. But most of the times it was like a $10 purchase. So how many kids did you take with you to McDonald's where you spent a grand total of $10?
Was he the first person in the Booster Club as president to have control of the money? Was that something that happened? I'm trying to read intent into this.
Yep.
Is that something that he had a plan, or is he just kind of a mess?
I think he's kind of a mess because that's what we normally see.
What was his involvement with the school?
He
Did he have a kid who went there or anything?
had no children at the school. He never attended Kathleen High School. He simply had a friend that was apparently involved in the Booster Club, and he thought, hey, this is a good thing to do to help the community. And he might have had pure intent to help children in the beginning, but he ended up helping himself.
So what should schools and other organizations in general do when somebody with, no real connection to the cause that they're supporting comes and says, hey, can I help out?
Well,
Should they be wary?
certainly there needs to be checks and background checks, and I believe you'll find that the school system has background checks for anybody who volunteers. They have pretty detailed background checks. But then the Booster Club is a separate 501c3. It's not assigned to or a part of the school system. That's up to, I mean, we don't have 6-year-olds on Booster Clubs. We all have a group of adults there who all understand at varying levels money management. It's up to the Booster Club and the executive director and or the board of directors to check and balance each other.
When did
So,
the sheriff's office get involved in this investigation?
Just recently, we were notified this month.
So how long had he been with the board?
I don't know how long he'd been with the board, but he'd been taking from them from last year. It was about a year period of time.
And does it just happen to coincide that the Booster Club shut down and now they have a new operation at 2015?
I don't know. The Booster Club is now defunct.
Right.
But between 15 and 16, about 1 year, he was the president. And we talked to the treasurer, and to make sure that the treasurer had no complicity, she said, hey, the only debit card we have, the president has. And I would ask him about these expenditures, and he would say that they're legitimate.
So are you saying or not saying that they shut it down because of him?
I don't know why they shut it down, probably because he broke it.
Was there a delay
But
in?
you'll have to ask them why they shut it down.
Was there a delay in the club reporting it to the sheriff's office? Because, I mean, this happened so long ago. Did they sit on this for a while for a reason, or did it just kind of pop up?
I have no idea why they waited so long to report it to us.
So this came from an audit, was that a routine audit?
Came from a principal, and how, I believe the school principal, I'm not sure how the school principal got into it, but then we were notified. But therein, you see the problem there. It starts in July 2014, goes to June 2015, and we're just recently into this thing. It's just, here, let me get it all in kind of one quote. It's sloppy bookkeeping of children's hard-earned money by an adult or a group of adults in that Booster Club, period. That's what it's about. But it's not unusual. We see it over and over and over. But what angers me is it's the children that suffer. It's the children that are being ripped off. It's the children that I hope are accepting this as bad examples of what not to do, as opposed to examples of how adults treat you. I mean, you're stealing from these kids that went forward to earn this money. Yes, sir.
So bottom line, you got a guy who's preying on kids.
Yes. Kids' monies. Fires me up. Makes me angry.
Doesn't, come on.
It makes me so angry that I could chew the bark off of oak trees if we only had an oak tree. Y'all take care. Have a good day. See you later. Bye.